Hello! Today's lesson is on adjective clauses with object-relative pronouns who, whom, and that. I went to a dinner party last night. It was great. The people who gave the party were excellent cooks. The guests who they invited were really interesting. I hope I can go to the next party that they give. Let's look at the first sentence. The people who gave the party were excellent cooks. In this sentence, the clause who gave the party is an adjective clause. It modifies or describes the people. In this adjective clause, the relative pronoun who is the subject of the verb gave. Remember that when the relative pronoun is the subject of the verb in the adjective clause, we can use the relative pronouns who or that for people. We use that for things. We can say, the people who gave the party were excellent cooks, or the people that gave the party were excellent cooks. Now let's look at the next two sentences. In the sentence, the guests who they invited were really interesting. The clause, who they invited, is also an adjective clause. It modifies or describes the word guests. Here, though, the relative pronoun who is the object of the verb invited. When the relative pronoun is the object of the verb in the adjective clause, we can use the relative pronouns who, that, or whom for people. For example, we can say, the guests who they invited were really interesting, or the guests that they invited were really interesting. We can also use whom for people when the relative pronoun is the object of the verb in the clause. Whom is more formal. We usually use whom in academic writing and business letters, and who in speaking. The guests whom they invited were really interesting. In the sentence, I hope I can go to the next party that they give, the clause that they give is an adjective clause also. It modifies or describes the word party. The relative pronoun that is the object of the verb give. Notice that we can use only that since party is a thing and not a person. When the relative pronoun is the object of the clause, it may be omitted. For example, we can omit the word who from the sentence, the guests who they invited were really interesting, and say, the guests they invited were really interesting. We can omit the word that from the sentence, I hope I can go to the next party that they give, and say, I hope I can go to the next party they give.